Hello. Welcome along to episode 282 of Adventures in Pop. I hope you've enjoyed the previous 281 episodes. Just joking. You're looking great, and as it's a new year, I'm starting a kind of a new little mini series here inside Adventures in Pop. And let me explain this as simply as I can because it's such a simple thing, but it's quite difficult to kind of get the point across, which is, look, in 2025, I released two albums, and now in 2026, I'm right in the process now of kind of finalizing what will be the tracks on the next album. And I'd like to start releasing material kind of in February. So I need to have something ready pretty soon. What all this means is that each time there's an album being put together, I'm selecting a bunch of tracks and I'm dismissing a bunch of other tracks because I'm basically making that selection. I'm choosing which ones I think, for whatever reason, and that's always an interesting thing, whatever reason, these ones are worthy of being on an album, these ones over here are not. It's a really, really tricky process to go through. I'm fighting with myself the whole way through it. No, this one's good. No, it's not quite good. And what is it that makes good? It's incredibly intangible and quite subjective, obviously, and difficult to describe. But because there've been these different album releases, what I've got now is really quite a large number. Probably 20 or 30 songs that probably are not going to ever appear on an album. And I've done this before with the series Unreleased Tracks, which is to kind of go fishing back through, tracks that kind of got away that weren't bad, but for whatever reason didn't quite make the cut. And I'm basically in the same situation again. So I'm going to call this Songs That Go Wrong, because for some reason, there must be a reason in each one of these songs I'm going to select. There's got to be a reason why I've decided not to put it on an album. And I'm going to try and be really honest with you. Instead of just playing the track and saying, oh, look, here's another one that nearly made an album. It's not bad, is it? And everyone goes, oh, that's quite nice. I want to try and be a bit more analytical in the kind of songwriting department about what it is that got in the way for this track. What was the reason that I, for some, in some instance, was just a bit less enthusiastic? Because I can't always remember after the event what was wrong with this. Sometimes I look at it and I think this is as good as anything else. Okay, some people will like it more and some people will like it less, but is there a really obvious reason why I have not chosen this? So I'm going to try and be as really honest and as transparent as I possibly can. What got in the way of any of these tracks? So from time to time, and I probably do it, reasonably regularly, I'm going to just focus on one track that was a song that went wrong, songs that go wrong, and try and find the thing wrong about it. And that might sound terribly negative, but I'll also be honest about the things I like. I always am. The stuff I like and the stuff I don't like, and I'll try and share that with you as we go along. Okay, so we're going to go straight to the first one of these. And this one is not particularly old. I think I wrote this early in 2025. And it's a song called, and in a way, actually, the joke is all in the title, I think. The song is called I Love You in Theory. And that is basically what the song's about. The song is about, I wanted some kind of declaration of love from you, and you told me that you do love me in theory. What does love you in theory mean? It's awful, isn't it? The whole premise of I love you in theory is pretty horrible. But anyway, that is what this song kind of rests on, is that kind of, can you imagine how you would feel if someone told you that they really love you in theory? And obviously it generates the question, so what about in practice? No? Okay, so that's the gist of the song. Okay. Now, to get a sense of the song, I'm going to hand over to me to share the kind of instrumental arrangement track with you and give you a sense of what's going on in the song. It's quite a simple track, and we'll come back and have a little listen and think about the words in just a moment. So we're going to take a walk through the instrumental, and by that I mean we're talking about the arrangement, really. When we talk about the arrangement, we're normally talking about the track without the vocals. So from the very beginning, we'll just take a little trip through here. And it's really simple actually. It's just, we've got some rhythm, we've got a bass, and we've got an organ, an electric piano-y thing there, which you can hear. And then a little sample comes in. That's the blue track. So that kind of sets the tone, the rhythm, the tempo. And then when it gets to the chorus, and I know where the chorus is, it's over here, the next little section, we have this other blue section, another sample coming in. That's quite important. That sits against the rhythm that we've been picking up so far. So it's a nice counter rhythm. Doing that. Then we come to a little, it's the second verse here with a new instrument coming in, that little turbo, that's a lead synthy sing. Okay, and we've got the hang of that, and then let's go straight towards the end and see how it ends up finally. We've got some acoustic guitars that are coming down the bottom, yeah. So we've got a fuller sound there. I have to say all of that is really very pleasant. To my ears, it's all sounding pretty good. It's not too full. It's got a nice rhythm and tone, really. Obviously, you can ruin that with some terrible vocals, but one hopes one doesn't do that. Ooh, and one further thing. I might need to go back a little bit for this, but under the choruses, let's go back to just to here. You can hear an electric guitar somewhere in there. Quite a nice effect to have quite a full-on electric guitar, but keep it low in the mix. It just creates an atmosphere, really, rather than the actual notes it's playing. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so there you've got the general tone of it. It chugs along quite nicely. So maybe we should have a little look at some of the lyrics. I don't like what you said to me. I can't handle the ambiguity. When I said I love you dearly, you smiled at me and said, I love you in theory. That's the essence of it. It's got a nice tune. It chugs along, as I say, quite pleasantly. So what is wrong? We have to try and analyse what is wrong with this. Okay. I would say it's not particularly original. Okay, so I'm being really hypercritical here. I would say it's the kind of thing that I write quite easily, which means that I've got to be a bit careful about just sort of churning out stuff that sounds a bit like this. And ultimately, I guess I'm not absolutely thrilled with the melody, and that is a really important area where it's incredibly hard to tell you why I'm not thrilled with the melody. It won't necessarily be at one specific spot, because if it was, I could change that. But it's more like all over it. You can't just pick out one little bit and say, the melody's weak there. Let's just sort out that couple of bars and we'll be fine. It isn't really like that. But there's something else, and I think this might be the real reason, and that is, you've heard me talking about the role of friends. This big group of people who populate quite a lot of my songs, and they have plenty to say about everything. And quite often, my friends are good advice and I'm trying to do something stupid and my friends are saying, don't do that, that's stupid. Okay, so quite often the friends are really valuable in my songs. They're the ones who are sensible and I'm the one who is potentially doing something crazy. Okay, so that's often the way the roles work. On the album that has just recently been released, Organic, there is a track called Don't Look Back, and it's all about, I wanna stay with you, or I wanna find you, I wanna rekindle a lost relationship, and my friends are saying, don't be completely stupid. And I've got a feeling that this song, which was written probably a little bit before Don't Look Back, is a precursor to Don't Look Back. Don't Look Back, the more successful of the two songs. And this one is covering the same territory, but not doing it quite as well. And I think that is the reason why I Love You in Theory is now a song that goes wrong rather than a track on Organic. So when we get to the chorus, everyone says that it's over. Everyone says you've moved on. Nobody cares how I'm feeling. I think everyone's wrong. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Everyone thinks I should go. Everyone sees impending disaster except me. I think our love will grow. So everyone says it's over. Well, yeah, we've got all that stuff. It's same comes up again. So lots of stuff from friends saying don't be a complete fool, and I'm absolutely driven towards being a complete fool. So, same as usual. There we go. I'm going to leave you with the entire song. You can hear the melody for yourself. Very simple lyrics video, and I'm going to wish you a fantastic weekend. Hope your January is going well, and I'll be back very soon with either another song that goes wrong, or we might even have brand new tunes, or anything else that pops up in the news as we get closer towards starting to release new music from the next album, which will be my 9th, God forbid, album. You take care now. Bye-bye. I don't like what you said to me. I can't handle the ambiguity. When I said I loved you dearly, you smiled at me and said, I love you in theory. Everyone says that it's over. Everyone says you've moved on. And nobody cares how I'm feeling. I think that everybody is wrong. When you said what you said, I could have wept. You said you liked the idea of us as a concept. When I asked if you could say it a little more clearly, you smiled at me and said, I love you in theory. Everyone thinks that I'm crazy. Everyone thinks I should go. Everyone sees impending disaster. Except for me, I think our love will grow. You like to tell your friends that we're together, but then you prefer to be apart, whatever. I thought